Early in the morning.
What's going on, the people? Them, it's your boy Cam Topical Juice, and we are back with another video for you today, the fourth of the day. As you can see from the title, Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, or the ex-CEO, has been arrested along with two other people, including a middleman, for running an sex trafficking ring. Oh my goodness. Guys, what have I told you? I told you this at the start of the year. I told you this at the start of 2024. This will be the year that it all comes crumbling down for them. It's not just Diddy, it is all of them. All of these elites, all these CEOs, these top celebrities, people like that, politicians, they are involved in a trafficking ring. It is that serious. It is that deep. While the world is choosing to focus on one monster in Diddy, we have multiple monsters that still exist who have not been brought to justice. But thank God we have another one to tick off the list, the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. Don't you worry, this will continue to the end of the year, and this will continue into 2025. There will be more. But guys, let's get straight into this video because there's a fair few things we need to talk about. So guys, if you can just click that like button for me, it takes half a second and makes a massive difference on how the YouTube video performs in the algorithm. If you like me, if you like my content, please consider pressing that subscribe button. You can always unsubscribe if you don't like me. It's all good. And if you want to support me and my channel, please do click that Patreon link and sign up. It's cheaper than your daily coffee. So, another executive. As you can see on your screen, it says ex-Abercrombie CEO arrested on sex trafficking charges. The former CEO of fashion giant A&F and his British partner have been arrested and are now facing charges. Mike Jeffries, his partner Matthew Smith, and the couple's alleged middleman were arrested on Tuesday morning. The FBI and prosecutor's office are expected to announce more details at a press conference shortly. The FBI opened an investigation last year after the BBC revealed claims that Big Mike Jeffries and his partner exploited and essayed men at events they hosted in their New York residences and hotels around the world. A rare successful BBC investigation found there was a sophisticated operation involving a middleman and a network of recruiters tasked with recruiting men for the events. Following the BBC's reporting, a civil lawsuit was filed in New York accusing Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Smith of trafficking, grape and SA. My goodness. The lawsuit also accused A&F of having funded a trafficking operation led by its former CEO over the 2 decades he was in charge. Under US law, sex trafficking includes getting an adult to travel to another state or country to have sex for money by using force, fraud, or coercion. Confirming the arrest, Brad Edwards of Edwards Henderson, a civil lawyer representing some of the victims, said these arrests are a huge first step towards obtaining justice for the many victims who were exploited and essayed through this trafficking scheme that operated for many years under the legitimate cover Abercrombie provided. In its investigation, the BBC spoke to 12 men who described attending or organising events involving sex acts run for Mr. Jeffries, 79, and his British partner Mr. Smith, 60, between 2009 and 2015. The 8 men who attended the events said they were recruited by a middleman who the BBC identified as a James Jacobson. Guys, before I continue, how eerily similar is this to Jeffrey, Puffy, whoever you want, whatever exposed billionaire you want? They all seem to have the same MO. Who remembers the court documents that I went through a few days ago, like last week or whenever it was, detailing Diddy's exploits with that woman? It sounded like a horror movie where that guy, Shane Pierce, Shane was the guy that brought that woman over, Ashley I think her name was, and set her up for Diddy to essay her. I suggested and I put forward the theory that Shane was one of his recruiters. Look at it's the same thing. Forget Diddy now. This is the Abercrombie CEO or the ex-CEO who was with the company for decades. They allege that Abercrombie itself was an actual cover for the criminality and he funded these exploits. Because you have to remember, they're recruiting these men under the guise of an event, of an Abercrombie event. The fact that it was an Abercrombie event that these criminal activities took place in, That's not a good look. You can argue that they were using funds from the business. They were using events from the business to contribute. It's like a RICO, using the business to allow for criminal activity to take place, the trafficking of men. This is crazy, guys. I used to work for Abercrombie. I used to work for Hollister for like 5 years, bro. The culture at the company was always wrong. You had to be pretty to get the job. Yeah, it was flattering at the time, but it was very shallow. Do you know what I'm saying? It was very cliquey. It wasn't a nice culture to work for. Abercrombie and Hollister. Very weird dynamic, very weird company. I know for a fact the managers that used to work at the Hollisters that I used to work at would sleep with the young female staff. Facts. Some of the men the BBC spoke to said they were misled about the nature of the events or not told SEX was involved. Others said that they understood the events would be sexual, but not exactly what was expected of them. All were paid. Who remembers what Diddy says to his victims? He says, take the money and say you're a worker. Because that way he gets around trafficking them. He gets around the rape charges. He bribes them and says, you take this money and just say you're a worker. Several told the BBC the middleman or other recruiters raised the possibility of modelling opportunities with A&F. Again, grooming them, giving them opportunities off the back of sexual exploits. This is madness. It's all of them. It's all these executives. It's all these billionaire millionaires. It's all of them. They're all involved in this. I'm sorry, they are. David Bradbury, then 23, and an aspiring model, said that it was made clear to him that without performing oral sex on Mr. Jacobson, he would not be meeting Abercrombie & Fitch CEO Mr. Jeffries. It was like he was selling fame and the price was compliance, Mr. Bradbury told the BBC. Mr. Bradbury said he later attended a party at Mr. Jeffries' mansion in the Hamptons in Long Island, where he met Mr. Jeffries and had intercourse with him. He said the secluded location and presence of Mr. Jeffries' personal staff dressed in A&F uniforms supervising events meant he didn't feel safe to say no, or I don't feel comfortable with this. In 2014, Mr. Jeffries stepped down as CEO following declining sales and left with a retirement package valued at around £20.5 million or $25 million, according to company filings at the time. Once one of America's highly paid CEOs, he was a controversial figure who faced claims of discrimination against staff. I've seen it with my own eyes, facts. Concerns about his lavish expenses and complaints about the unofficial influence of his life partner Matthew Smith inside A&F. Guys, this is insane. Now, everyone's different. As I said, if I was put in a compromising position, I would fight my way out and I would say no. I don't care if you like to comment and say you wouldn't know what you would do in this position. You don't know me. You don't know what I've survived. You don't know the trauma that I've been through. If I'm telling you I would say no and deal with the consequences, then I'm telling you I would say no and deal with the consequences. But that's not to undermine this victim and anyone else who have found themselves in this situation. Power and influence make it very difficult to say no to someone, especially when there's drugs involved, alcohol involved, especially when they're in a position of power and they're your CEO, they're your boss, and you're trying to aspire to be a model, the face of the company. I understand it's difficult to say no. I understand that. I really do understand that. And I feel for these people. I feel for these victims of this man, because the reality is, no matter how much you gloss it up, these men have been trafficked. Guys, this is groundbreaking. Look at what's happening around us. CEOs are resigning. They're getting arrested. It's almost like justice is finally coming to light here. Now, whether these people actually get convicted of this is another story. But guys, this is insane. We have 12 men who have come forward. Men, it's so difficult. Trust me, it's so difficult as a man when you've gone through something horrific to speak about it. It's so difficult. So I respect these men for coming forward and speaking their truth. It's not just a CEO, it's his partner. It's his partner and a middleman and recruiters. This is a ring. It's a ring. It's a whole entire trafficking ring. All of this they're all involved. I bet you any money that Abercrombie CEO was at a Diddy party 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Because it's not just celebrities that chill with celebrities. It's CEOs, athletes, politicians, lawyers, police force, as in the top police force dons, not your lower level dons, but anyone who's the top of anything will be in and around this culture and this environment. They're not like us. They're wired differently and they're warped. Guys, let me know your thoughts. It looks like the House of Cards is finally capitulating, but let's see. Please, guys, stay safe, stay blessed, stay vigilant. Peace.